Welcome back, everyone. New School Sensei. I'm Lance Douglas. I'm your host. We've got Ken Douglas, and we also have Colby Allen. So we want to do a recap from the Giles Trials. So big event here for Australian Jiu-Jitsu. Probably the most stacked card. You had the 16-man tournament, and then the winner gets a chance to go into the 6-man round robin. So a pretty epic day. Overall, you had who ended up winning? So it was Belal. Is it Etiabara?
It's
Etiabari.
Belal
He
and
was.
Kaya.
He looked very, very dangerous, and I think for the plus 99, I think was probably the best person for us. Even though he narrowly, well, I don't know, with Kaya almost got in, but I feel like Kaya was a bit undersized. So getting Belal, like, he just looked like an absolute beast. So yeah, what are your thoughts, Cole? Because you were there, I was there, Kenny wasn't. So give us some of your initial thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment of Kaya. I thought he showed a really high jiu-jitsu level and had some of the highlights of the event. And I mean, he just clearly showed that he's at a very, very high level here. But physics are a thing and biomechanics do exist. And when you got guys who, have probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 kegs on you. I'm not sure what Kaya weighed in at, but just looking at his opponents when, they were like matched up together during the matches, it was it was a big difference. So I think that kind of played a role for him. But I've gotten to train with Belal a few times now, and he's pretty comfortably the best leg locker that I've moved around with. And
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I'm not shocked that he did really, really well. I think as well the way that they set up this this tournament was to reward submission focused guys. Unfortunately, it didn't really like play out so much over the day, but it kind of rewarded the guys who have like really strong submission games, and that's Belal to a T. So yeah, I'm not shocked that he took out the 6-man, or so that he got onto the team. And I think Declan Moody was probably everyone's favorite going in. So I think how it panned out was how everyone thought that it would going in. And yeah, can't wait to see what those two boys are able to do on the big stage.
For me, story wise, I want a Kit Dale to make it through just for the story, because the guy, what is he? Is he pushing? Is he over 40 now, or what is he? Early 30s? I don't know.
Late 30s. I think he's like 38 or something.
Fair enough. So he's not a full time athlete, but he comes in, he's training, he won the 16-man, and then I feel like if he didn't lose to Declan Moody, like, it would have been his to take. So it is a shame.
The thing is, man, like we had Tommy and Duke in the 16-man, so we kind of looked at this ahead of time. The difference between the guys who have to fight their way through the 16-man and then start a new division versus the 5 boys who were just straight in the 6-man, it's too much, bro. Like, it's too much, man. Listen, I'm a lightweight. I weigh 73. If I had to fight 4 lightweights and then go into a 6-man tournament, that would be hard. For heavyweights, brother, that is a huge ask. You know what I mean? Like, Kit's got to come back after however many years off and fight his way through 4 absolutely legit dudes, and then wait around for a couple hours and then fight 5 more super legit dudes. Huge performance from Kit. It was really, really cool to see. Like, everyone, obviously there's all these different personalities and figures in the jiu-jitsu world now, but everyone who grew up when we were coming up, Kit Dale was like someone very, very prominent, and it was really cool to see him come back and have such a big performance. But I don't think anyone could begrudge him not making it through the 6-man after. It's 9 matches in a day, bro.
It's a lot of matches.
I'm done with that. Like, you just, there's not an amount of money in the world that can make me do 9 straight jiu-jitsu matches in a day. You know what I mean? So what he was able to do and the showing that he was able to put forward for himself is really elevated him back in people's eyes, I think. So a massive win for Kit.
He probably needed, like, a physio in between the matches. You know how we had that 2-hour break? He needed to get some treatment done. All I saw, he was sitting out the front on his phone, just sitting, squatting. and he's just sitting on his phone. Like, I think for him to get through that 9 matches and to win, he needed to be a little bit more professional.
Well, like, unless you're gonna do like the
He needed to be on
Lance Armstrong,
electrolytes. I
like
didn't see him have any
IV.
electrolytes or nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
but brother, this is what I mean. Unless you're gonna do like the Lance Armstrong, like IVs and the team bust, and God knows what else you're putting into your body, it doesn't matter, brother. 9 matches, bro. 9 matches. It doesn't matter. Listen, I know you're a physio. I know you know this is your thing. No physio in the world is making that ninth match any easier. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just gonna suck the entire time. But yeah. Look, he put in a really good showing. I thought he handled Bilal's leg entries really, really well. His base is like just a bit different, and this isn't the most like technical observation. I don't know if I should say this, but anyway, I just got the feeling from watching him that he's like really dense, like physically dense, not mentally, but like just really like that center of mass. There's so much mass. You know what I mean? Like I could see when Bilal was entering, it was just entering a brick wall. And yeah, it was really cool to see Kit doing what he used to do back in the day, even at an advanced stage. So yeah, really cool day for him.
he's got those like footy player legs, like just really thick,
Yeah.
and a thick torso. Even Kaya, like my
It's
wife
just
Sophia,
it's
like
just
she
like the
said,
density of tissue that like
yeah,
I don't know. Haven't I've never rolled him before, but that was my first time like seeing him really up close, and it's like I would hate to have to roll this dude. Would hate it, but yeah, fun times.
Now, what are your thoughts overall of the concept? You know, the 3/4 pit, the 8-minute rounds. I've got a couple of opinions, but it'd be good to hear because you know you're coaching some of the boys there. So, well, what are your thoughts on how they ran it?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I do like the concept of the pit. I think the pit will get refined over time because it's still very young in its kind of application to jiu-jitsu. I know a lot of the boys who had their first time competing in the pit said it felt very, very different. And it, you know, a lot of the stuff that we do on the vertical wall or the fence for MMA doesn't really carry over to a pit on the like the 45-degree angle. Um, I liked how it was set up with the 3/4 as well. You got to make do with what you have. So, like, if you have an arena like the actual CGI event does, where you can get elevation, then you probably don't need the 3/4 pit because everyone can just see into it. But for something like this, I thought the 3/4 was really, really cool. And the event ran really, really well. It looked good. I thought, like, I watched it back on the YouTube stream afterwards, and it just looked professional. You know, like I I think going forward, if promotions, you know, can put the money into it, that a 3/4 pit might actually be the way forward because it just looks a bit more up to standard than just the flat mat. So yeah, I could see this being a really influential event for just the wider jiu-jitsu competition going forward.
With the 3/4 pit, it looked like a couple of the athletes were still gaming it a little bit. Um, Especially, I saw like I was really impressed with Bobby. What's his last name? Bobby
Yes.
Frias. Yeah, like he came in with like he looked like he just been in a lab. They put all through the tests on him, and he's just come out like he was a different animal compared to everyone else. To be honest, like he seemed bigger than last time I saw him too.
Yeah,
But
you
he was
see
really
too
good. Like,
many ASADA testers at this. They had a busy day with quite a few of the competitors. I reckon there might have been a few test cups had holes in the bottom of them afterwards. But yeah, Bob always is a master strategist. That guy, like he understands how to get it won. You know what I mean?
he was good at circling like towards the open side of the pit, so then people couldn't take him down.
Yeah, and I mean that's smart, isn't it? It's really, really smart, especially because like you know we hadn't really seen the pit beforehand. No one's really competed in it before. It was really cool of him to kind of like make that adjustment on the day. And then you saw a couple matches where guys were getting stuck in the corner, and like that looks awful, mate. If you're stuck in the corner of the pit, you are in huge trouble. So yeah, really smart of him to kind of back up to the open side where he's not really in risk of getting taken down, and he can just run through a guy and stick him on the pit edge and put him away.
I actually think it was like a proper like full pit. Someone with his style, he'd probably win because he's so physical. Like he just ram you against the pit and then just get to work.
Yeah, I think if the pit really takes off, which I hope it will, because yeah, I think it's just a little bit better than the flat mat, then we'll start to see like a whole new school of jiu-jitsu come out where it's, like you have wall wrestling for MMA that's different to, just your standard scrimmage wrestling. And if you see the pit really take off, then we're going to have to start to learn some systems for dealing with that 45-degree angle. Um, and there will be guys who are just really, really good at that. You know what I mean? And I think that probably plays into Bob's strengths really, really well. Use his athleticism, come up with a technical system to put guys away there. And at the end of the day, mate, if you can just put someone in that corner where it's very, very difficult to maneuver out, if you're on bottom, you're probably going to win a lot of matches. So it'll be interesting to see how that craft kind of comes through as the pit becomes more prominent.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of felt like, because I've watched a lot of wrestling competitions, and it looked like the athleticism from the athletes is definitely right up there with the wrestlers. Like, jiu-jitsu comp, let's be honest, looks like a couple of nerds, just wrestling each other. But at this trials, it looked like, they look like wrestlers, essentially.
Yeah, those they're big boys, mate. They're big boys, and a lot of them do have that wrestling background. Like Josh Shipton hit the throw of the tournament. He hit a
Oh,
either a
yep.
Uchimata or a Harigoshi. I'm not good with I don't speak Japanese, you know what I mean? But he hit a beautiful throw on Anton Manenko. Uh,
Yep.
he unfortunately got armbarred immediately afterwards, but that was an awesome match. So like we are starting to see now where it's not just like the jiu-jitsu nerds coming to the top, you know what I mean? It's guys with some actual like stand-up proficiency, a bit of athleticism, that aggressive kind of style on the feet. And yeah, they're starting to get it done, brother.
And speaking of Anton, he looked on fire. Like he that was the best I've ever seen him like compete. Like he was unlucky not to make it into the six man.
Yeah, bro, people, and I mean, like, you guys will know this because we came up at the same time. People don't understand that back in the day, Anton Manenko was the boogeyman, brother. Like, that man used to clear out open weight divisions before they'd even start. You know what I mean? Like, you would just go in, see Anton Manenko's name on the chart, and you're like, oof, I'm done with my hamstring hurt. I'm not doing that open weight anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if that guy gets hold of my leg, then I'm going to the hospital. And I feel like over the years, he's always shown that quality, but maybe just his consistency from event to event has waned a little bit. There's just some days where he doesn't look on, but when he does look on, that dude is one of the scariest dudes in the Australian Jiu-Jitsu scene. And he had a really cool tournament, man. He had a really cool tournament. That armbar he hit on Shippo was elite. Put Tommy Gunn away. And then, honestly, I thought if he made it to the six man, that he probably had the best chance out of the guys who could have made it through. Like Kit obviously did, and that was awesome. But Kit probably didn't have the submission threat to win in that particular rule set. But Anton can put you away from wherever. So yeah, it'd be really, really cool if he made it through. That would have been a cool story too.
It's kind of like some athletes just have a great day. Like it looked like he was just on fire.
Yeah, him and Yurosh, I think,
Yeah.
like the two really good competitors. Like, there might be some guys who are more technical in that division, but just they're really good at showing up on the day and just like really making you earn it, bro. And yeah, both of those boys really showed up and put it on. Same as Kit. So yeah, really cool to see. The old guard still difficult to put them away. You know what I mean?
That's it. Let's transition. So you're there, you're coaching a lot of the AET athletes. So Kenny, he's done a bit of research, rewatched all the matches, he wrote some notes, he loves it. So Kenny, do you want to just fire off just some questions more towards, obviously the coaching side of things, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so unlike these two, sorry, I got a bit of background. Is that on yours, Lance?
That's all right. We'll clean it up in the edit.
Yeah, so unlike these two boys, I was actually spectator at home. And it looked super professional. Yeah, so something that I would love to hear, yeah, because we had quite a few guys competing, and I saw Colby in the corner. You're in the corner 3 or 4 times. So if we can, especially super fights. Hey Lance, if you just mute yours, it should be fine. There you go. Yeah, so for super fights, it looked like we had Mohammed, Bekai, we had Abby, we had Daniel, we had Bowie. We had those 4 super fights, yeah, from AT guys, Colby.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you just want to talk through each of them. We did pretty well, to be honest. I was watching them. If you want to talk through each of them, that'd be awesome to hear.
Yeah, cool. Look, I wasn't in the corner for Mohammed's, but he obviously did exceptionally well. Put his opponent into diagonal ashi, transitioned to the Z-lock, put him away, did a backflip, pulled out a sign with his Instagram handle on it. That's just elite work, mate. He's really at the top of his craft. You know what I mean? Like, anyone can go in there and just like win a decision and get the win and go home and make an Instagram post. But some people are just really good at making an impression, mate. Win, lose, or draw, you go home and you remember that person. And Mo Bekai is that kid. There's something about that boy. I don't know. There's an energy to him that people kind of gravitate to, and it really comes out of him in competition. A lot of people, and me included, to be honest, they go into comp and like get very insular, and their energy is kind of like contained within them, and it's difficult to express yourself on that stage. It's kind of just the nature of competing. And Mo is the opposite, mate. He just something comes out of him when he's in a jiu-jitsu match, and yeah, he just put it on this kid from the very, very start. I forget the kid's name. I think he's from Complete. But obviously, like a talented blue
His
belt
name is
or purple belt to get on that
Awang.
card. Obviously, showed a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, Mo just did really, really well, mate. Got that Z lock that some of those boys are starting to get really proficient at, and yeah, I think got a few Instagram followers out of it, which is what it's really all about at the end of the day, isn't it, boys?
That's it, mate. It's all about capitalism, building your following. Not about the love of the sport. No way.
Nah, mate. It's all about that excitement. You know what I'm saying?
Something I thought that was really cool in that match was with Mo. The guy had closed guard on him. He actually sat back and threw both his legs over the top, and he was starting to attack the legs. So it was he wasn't trying to win by points. He was trying to submit this kid.
Well, the rule set was and I mean we saw this in some of the matches. If there's not a submission, it's just a draw. So like, for lack of a better term, might as well just send it. Yeah, like they're obviously trying to promote the super fights to like get some highlights and just a bit of excitement in between the heavyweights. And yeah, Mo understood the assignment, boys. Just went out there, hunted the legs, and got the sub. You'll love to see it.
Is there a way to get out of that Z lock once you got the reap and they've already got the scoop on there?
Oh,
Well, you're pretty
Listen,
much done.
yeah, look, the diagonal ashi, which is the entanglement that you set up the Z lock from, is probably the most cinched up entanglement that is currently in use. If you're in the Z lock, you want to fall to the side of the primary leg, so the leg that they're trying to like bicep curl up and then rotate through. You want to fall to that side so that the floor kind of protects it from getting underhooked. And then you want to try to free your secondary leg, like the grip that they have on it. So it's hard to demonstrate online, but basically Mohammed like weaves his arm in between both his leg and the opponent's and just keeps you locked up. So if you can fall to that primary leg side, strip off that hand, withdraw the secondary leg, then you can start to think about potentially getting out. But by the time you go through all that, you're starting from a long way behind. So both Mohammed and Renzo have gotten quite proficient in that diagonal Ashi position, and hopefully you see him pull off quite a few more finishes as the years go by.
I like it. Mo is a savage as well, because when you watch it, he's actually going for the kill there. He's really trying to pop this guy's hip and everything.
Oh,
Like usually,
hello.
I've seen people go pretty slow and smooth, but he's going for it.
Nah, brother, he's there for your lunch money. But do you guys remember? I foreshadowed this. Remember what I said? If you come up against these kids who are just doing full-time jiu-jitsu, they are coming for your lunch money. Yeah, like they are not there to take part, brother. They are there to take over. They are there to take home your limbs. Mohammed, if he gets hold of submission, is not giving you a chance, mate. He is the modern day equivalent of Husamar Palhares. He is trying to take parts of you home with him and then post them on his Instagram. It's you don't stuff around, mate. If he gets hold of your leg and you're in trouble, you're in a lot of trouble.
I like it. Yeah, yeah. So let's move on to the next super fight. I believe it was Bowie, if we go by the order on the card. And
Yep.
yeah, it was an interesting one.
Yeah, so I did corner Bowie. I've cornered Bowie a few times actually. He's a fun one to corner. There's always a bit happening in his matches. I want to say Spencer Quayle is an exceptional talent. He's an exceptional talent. He's always come up as sort of like that plucky kid who goes into, open weights and kind of has a crack as the underdog. But I think we're starting to see now he transitions into just being a genuinely super dangerous grappler who has a really bright future. I think he's doing this full time now. I don't know Spencer that well, to be honest, so I don't want to speak to what he's doing, but he is someone who I think can really start to forge a career as one of the best grapplers in Australia at that weight. So I think he's probably getting around just under 70. I see a lot of things in that kid, and I think he's done really well at identifying what the most common paths to victory are at high level now and becoming really proficient at exploiting those paths. So he's really, really good at chasing the back. He's got great system from finishing from there. His guard retention's on point. He's got some leg locks. He's a great counter leg locker. Yeah, I think there's a really bright future for Spencer. So Bowie took him on, stepped up, and I just feel with Bowie, he didn't play the ranges very well, unfortunately. He just kind of stepped into Spencer's guard and then allowed Spencer that tempo to attack him, which you just can't do against guys who have really dangerous guards. And if you give someone like Spencer the chance to attack you, he will attack you. And ended up pulling off the reverse triangle shoulder lock and put our boy away, unfortunately. But really cool to see both those boys step up and do their thing.
A match I'd love to see. I want to see Spencer versus our boy Lewis for a second time.
It's
Yeah,
already
I
happened.
want to see that
It's already
match.
happened a bunch of times. It's happened a bunch of
It has
times.
happened a bunch of time. Well,
Yeah.
it has to happen. It has to happen, and it has to happen one more time, I reckon, because I still haven't seen it personally.
Yeah.
I've seen what Lewis has done to our training partners and what he's personally done to me. So I'd love to see Lewis do it to someone his size.
Yeah, I think Spencer's already put that one to bed, unfortunately. Lewis will hate me saying that, but I think that one has already been put in the books. So probably the less said about that, the better.
You've wrote him off already. Jeez.
No, I'm not writing him off. Just that match has happened like 3 times now, 3 or 4 times. There's a lot of really talented guys I would like to see Spencer go up against, and Lewis has to kind of tackle some things first, I think.
I like it. Sweet. Let's move on to the next match. I believe it was Daniel Ayer, who was a man on a mission. I think you must have put a bounty on that Angus Tonkin and say, if you get that choke, I'm going to give you $1,000 because he was relentless, wasn't he?
Yeah. So Daniel took that match on late notice. I was actually supposed to have that one. Unfortunately, I had to pull out a couple of days beforehand. So luckily, we do have quite a stable of guys around that 73 kilo mark at HQ. So Daniel stepped up in my place, and again, I think this is the third time that Daniel and Angus have had a match together. They had one on Fusion that Daniel won by a point, and then one at one of the Federation comps. I can't remember which. But yeah, we've got a fairly good idea of what Angus's game is, and we thought that Daniel matched up pretty well for him. And man, I just want to say Daniel Ayer is one of the most underrated guys who actually competes. Like, there's a lot of people who will put up some guy from the gym that has maybe competed once every 3 years and like, this is the most underrated guy getting around. And look, maybe that's true. Maybe that guy is, super, super talented. But Daniel Ayer is out there super consistently putting it on. Just won ADCC Open here in Melbourne, has always performed really, really well at high levels of competition and still doesn't get his flowers as one of the better guys getting around at that weight. I'll tell you straight up, the guy is probably between him and Michael Messer on my main training partners at HQ, and the guy has put me away many, many times. So if there's anyone out there who is running shows and is looking for someone to put on a show at 73 kilos, Daniel Ayer is the man, and he showed that at the trials. He's super well rounded. He's got a really, and this is the thing about coaching him. He has so many weapons that like me, for example, I'm a shamelessly one-dimensional leg lock up. So if you're coaching me, then even if the leg locks are going to be difficult to kind of get to, then you kind of have to coach me to find my way to them and work through the brick wall. Whereas Daniel has so many weapons and he's so well rounded and he's so just complete as a grappler that even if one of his tools is perhaps not the one for the job, he has all these other ones that you can call on. And that's kind of what happened in this match. We knew Daniel had good enough guard. We know Angus is really, really good at taking the back, but Daniel has amazing back defense. So we didn't really feel that there was too many places that Angus could threaten Daniel, and we knew that Daniel could put him away from a variety of positions. So beforehand, we kind of identified that Angus likes to wrestle up from that bottom position quite often, and Daniel has a weapon with a front headlock game. And yeah, it's kind of how it panned out to be, mate. He got that squeeze. Yeah, he was going for it a couple of times, but it just never fully sunk in. And Angus is a dog, man. Like he will make you put him away. You know what I mean? Like, let's not take anything away from Angus Tonkin. That kid's a really hard grappler to finish. And yeah, he made Daniel work for it. But once he got that arm in, he really just put it on, brother, and left him no choice but to tap. It was awesome to see.
It was relentless, and it looked really, really confident out there. Like, he wasn't afraid of the entanglements. He just, as soon as he saw that head, he was on it, and he, headlocked through him multiple times. Just, I didn't get a chance to chat to him, but did he get a feeling as soon as he locked on there was something there, and then he's like, "Yeah, this is going to be the pathway to victory."
Yeah, he like I said, before the match, we kind of had the idea that the front headlock would be the way. And he did have a few attempts beforehand to try to get the finish, but just Angus was fighting his hands in there really, really well. But yeah, on that one, he said as soon as he locked it up, he knew that there was game over. So once he sat in, Angus had to tap pretty quickly. And yeah, Daniel's not going to let go once he gets hold. That's a good thing about I think it's only 7 or 8 minutes the matches were for the super fights. So once you get hold, you don't have to conserve any energy in going for the subs because only those short form matches, and you can really afford to like put a lot of energy into it. And Daniel put that squeeze on, and that's it.
I like it. And let's move on to the last super fight that you were coaching, Abby versus I forgot her name.
Alanis. Yeah,
Alanis, yeah?
Alanis.
Mate, I wrote all these
Yeah.
notes, yeah? I watched all these fights and I put in my notebook. I wrote the names. I was almost like scoring it right in moves. The notebook's downstairs, boys. So, sorry to the super fight people.
Very good.
Hey, I thought I
Very
did all the prep,
professional
but I
outfit
left
we're
the
running
notebook
here.
back. That's it. But watching that was a great match. And Alanis, she went for a smash pass, then she went for a knee cut as she got through, hit the Barada Plata. And I'm still trying to figure out how she did it because they both have black rash guards and I still can't figure out the arm work. So maybe you want to talk us through that because that was a great move. It didn't get the submission, but that was the only attack, to be honest, in the super fight with Abby.
Yeah. Look, let's just say from the outset, Alanis is one of the most talented women in Australia by a decent margin. She's obviously come from overseas. She's partner of Levi Jones Leary, who is also one of, if not the best grappler that we have currently living here in Australia. And we knew that this would be a really, really big step up for Abby in terms of the exposure she's had at competition level before. That Barada Plata was kind of a theme of the day. How do I explain? When Abby would step into those inside ranges, Alanis was doing a really good job of tying her up in the arms. So like she'd lasso her outside foot in, overwrap it, and then use that to keep Abby kind of centered in that inside range and then attack her from there. And yeah, that Barada Plata at the start, man, she just locked onto it. And Abby did an exceptional job of like disassociating her hips from Alanis so that when Alanis went for the finish and she tried to rotate that shoulder, Abby could just step her hips around with it so that like the shoulder itself isn't rotating and the finish doesn't come on. Whereas like if Alanis had managed to get the Barada Plata and then underhook the hip and keep Abby centered in one spot and then put the finish on, then you get that chicken wing motion at the shoulder that will actually break you and break you badly. So yeah, really, really smart by Abby in that moment to kind of free her hips and use that to be able to free her arm. And yeah, I think most of us probably would have been in a lot of trouble with that kind of shoulder lock. I can promise you my shoulders don't rotate half as far as Abby's do. So yeah, she did really, really well in that moment to kind of stay in the pocket, stay in the fight, and yeah, find her way out.
Boom. So we wrapped up all the super fights that our team was involved in, essentially. I thought I just might
Sorry to interrupt. Can
go
I
for it,
just
mate.
talk more broadly about that match?
Yeah, let's
Because
do it.
I just want to say this, and you know, obviously I talked up Daniel before, but I just want to say this. Abby Julian is one of the most talented females in Australia, and like she's not full time. She's just finished her degree in paramedicine. Like that girl is doing so much in life that isn't jiu-jitsu, and yet she's finding a way to still thrive as a jiu-jitsu athlete against a field of super talented girls. And I really hope that even though she didn't get the win in this match, and let's be honest, Alanis won the match just from a subjective point of view. Alanis had more attacks and just I think showed a bit more jiu-jitsu overall. But Abby is so talented, and everyone who trains with her can see that, probably more than she can see that. And I think, or I hope that in the future we're going to look back at this match as Abby's breakout performance. You see in so many professional sports like footy, for example, you can have a super talented kid that needs that one game where he plays well and he gets that confidence that, oh, I actually can succeed at this level. Like I can play AFL footy and I can be good. And then from that game, they take off, right? I really, really hope that this is that day for Abby, because this was by far her highest level of competition that she's been exposed to. And I think the start of the match, you could see Alanis had the tempo, she had the initiative as Abby was kind of working into like being confident enough to attack her. And you could see Abby's self-belief build through that match. And she started to realize that she does belong at that level as the match went on. And she started to, I think, gain a little bit of tempo as the match went on. And I think now that she's had that exposure to that level of competition, she's seen that she is at that level and that she belongs in the ring with girls of that caliber, that will start to see her start to gain the mental tools that will help her ascend that level. So even though she didn't get the objective win this time, I think the little personal wins that she had are so much more valuable than, getting a win on the day. And I really hope that this is the start of something really special for her and that she starts to get more opportunities to compete at a high level and show just who she is and how good she is. And that we will look back on this match with Alanis as the catalyst for that. So that's my hope.
Boom. No pressure, Abby.
No pressure. No.
All right, so I'm just mindful of your time, Colby, because you got the masters class. And we don't want to deprive you of your mat time and finishing some hills on some hobbyists and MMA fighters that are there in the masters class. So
Got to keep these boys on their toes.
100%, man, and the heels too. So I thought a cool way to move the potty, we just quickly move through three things. It'd be cool to sort of see the insights that us jiu-jitsu coaches should be bringing to our mats from the Giles Trials. So maybe if you both can talk about that. Maybe the second thing after that, quickly, if there's any stories. I know you had the Mexican Bruce Buffer. He was going off as the day was going, the announcing the MC. Colby Sandu was very funny in my opinion. I know some people didn't like him, but I thought it was hilarious. And then the last bit of the potty will go quickly, just sort of the future of the Australian team, like how they're going to perform. So maybe firstly, Lance, do you want to talk about anything you learnt that us coaches can implement on our mats?
I learned a lot from watching Kit compete. So his weight distribution, and he's always adjusting his hips. Like I remember, Will Max, he told me, jiu-jitsu, it's a game of inches and centimeters. And I never really understood that until watching the Giles Trials, because normally when you're at Pampax or a competition, you have the barrier and then you actually got a lot of distance and you can't actually see the details. So being at the Giles Trials, you can actually get a really good look at exactly what they're doing and you can see all the little adjustments they're making. So I know typically I'll set a grip and that's it. But from watching Kit, he sets a grip and he's adjusting it, he's adjusting it. The hips are always adjusting, the head position. It's just all those little adjustments. So I'm trying to figure out a way we can work that into the training room, which is, I think, to be honest, it's probably just down to experience, but that's what I'm going through my head. How can I bring that concept of adjustments into the next training session? So, yeah.
Colby, do you want to talk through anything that you saw, any trends, anything that we can include in our classes?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me that I was noticing really quickly was the difference in guys who are competent passing on their feet versus passing on their knees. You see overseas that it has evolved to standing passing now, and I understand why guys are hesitant to do that, because you are going to give exposures to your legs. But the answer there is to just be better at defending leg locks and using those exchanges to progress your passing. Passing standing is such a vitally important skill, and being able to flank someone, to be able to camp on them, put pressure on them, and fatigue them before you actually go to finish the match is such a vital skill that really differentiated the good guys from the great ones on the weekend. And Declan Moody was probably the best exponent of that, as someone who, is primarily a guard player. I was watching him and just thinking how glad I was that I wasn't currently underneath him, because the chains that he was pulling off with his passing were just exceptional. And I think there's a lot to learn for guys, particularly at lighter weights, that you can't pass on your knees anymore. Like it just isn't the way. You have to be competent, at least getting up on your feet, having your footwork on point, being able to flank side to side, being able to go around the legs, under the legs, whatever the case is. But you can't just sit in a half guard anymore and stay there in range on your knees and lose your ability to engage and disengage. And yeah, Declan showed that's why he's the best. He's so strong. He has so many tools on the feet that it's really, really difficult as a guard player to even identify like where the weakness is in that guy. Like, how am I going to put Declan Moody away? And it's because he's going to make it miserable for you on bottom. And that's half the battle these days.
I think the strategy versus Declan would be to put him on his back. True.
Yeah, good luck, bro. Did you see that guy? Put him on his back. Good luck, mate. I was backstage with him. I was just watching him walk around and like, mate, I reckon you could give me like, have you seen that run it straight thing they have where they get the two guys that like run at each other at full speed with the rugby ball and you got to knock it out? But like, you could just park Declan Moody at the other end of that and let me run full speed at him and try to put him down. I will bounce back to where I started, brother. There is no shot. These guys that are hard to put on their back and then are super dangerous on top, it's a cheat code, mate. What are you going to do?
Talking about the runner straight, watching Tommy's matches, it seemed like he would shoot, hit a brick wall, then he has to play guard. He did it versus that big, I think his name was like Harry Larry or something. The big,
Adnan Larry, yeah.
What was his name, sorry?
Sorry, Adnan Larry. He's
Sorry about that, bro, if you're out listening.
yeah, he's an MMA fighter. He's obviously got a lot of size on Tommy, and it happened in both of Tommy's matches where he
literally ran into brick
down the
walls.
middle.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's a strategy he did or it was literally hit a brick wall.
Look, how do I say? I don't think Tommy will be too upset about me saying, because he spoke about it publicly, but I think there was a belief there that he would be able to just figure it out in the moment that got exposed against high level competition, where you can kind of just go in and vibe it when, it's very even, or if you're the better guy. But when you're coming up against really high level talent and high caliber athletes, you got to put a little bit more forethought into what the strategy is. And without exposing too much of what we've talked about, I think there was a lack of planning there that kind of showed up on the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, fair enough. And we'll quickly move through. Any funny stories from the day? I know Lance has told me a couple. I know maybe Lance, you want to talk about Siraj, a little story there?
Yeah. Well, it's not really a story. Just, I guess his match with Kenta, like, I think Kenta went for the takedown. Siraj, like, went for a sacrifice throw. He might have kicked or elbowed him and just cut his lip real bad. So,
Yeah,
but then, oh, yes. But the funny thing is, so he got hurt with Kenta, so the ankle. So he's got ice on it. And then Lockie is just telling the guys, yeah, Kenta might have to pull out. So Siraj, with the ice on his ankle, walks over. He's like, hey, coach, if Kenta pulls out, I'm in. Lockie looks at him. And then he's got that expression like, come on, man, you're injured. And then Siraj is like, yeah, I'm good, man. Starts running on the spot. It was freaking funny. Like minutes before limping, but as soon as the opportunity to fight, somehow that adrenaline comes in and he's ready to go. So I actually think if Siraj had the second chance, he's very dangerous. So yeah,
Raj and Kenta. Kenta got that dwarf lock, man. Kenta is such a dangerous athlete. Like you talk about if Siraja got through, I think if Kenta had got through, he
true.
might have won that 16-man division. Like Kenta might be pound for pound the most talented guy in that 16-man division, and it's really unfortunate. I didn't see the cut. I saw him outside as I was coming in after his match, and the mouth didn't look good. I think the tooth had gone through, unfortunately. So, not shocked that he ended up pulling out of the event. But man, if that hadn't happened, and if he'd been able to make it all the way through, or I really feel like he has the combination of technique, athleticism, and submission skills to actually put some guys away in that rule set. The only issue is that he's just smaller, unfortunately. But yeah, super impressive from Kenta. Won that.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to walk. Sorry, you got something, Lance? Are you all good? Yeah. So
No, you go for it, buddy.
yeah. So the last thing I thought it'd be cool to talk about. So you've got the Australasian team, pretty much called the Australian team. You got, hey Lance, if you just want to mute because I'm hearing myself in the background. Sorry, bro. Yeah. So you've got Fabricio Andre as the wild card at 66. You got Levi Jones at 77, Lucas Cannard 88, and then you got 99 and plus 99. You got Belal, and then you got Declan Moody. Okay, so maybe let's just say Colby, Lachlan Giles is sick. Okay, you have to step in as the coach. Okay, I'd love to hear what is your quintet strategy. Do you is the aim to send out your biggest and strongest first to get the submissions? Or is the aim to sort of get the smaller guy in? You can wear out the other bigger guys. I'd love to hear your strategy because you got other teams. You got like B team. They got like Nicky Rod, Victor Hugo. You got two big guys there already. You got like New Wave or Kingsway or whatever they're called, Queensway. You got like you got Big Dan. You got Luke Griffith. I'd love to hear your strategy if you were able to take on Lockie's job, or maybe he's his vice pres there.
Yeah, I think my strategy would be to send out our most dangerous submission threat first, because then you gain tempo, right? And then you can just kind of shamelessly stall out the event. So like, say we send out Belal and Declan first and second, and one of those guys managed to pull a sub. So now we're 1-0 up. Then you've got three guys with excellent guard retention who you just tell them, boys, we don't need to expose nothing. We're just coasting through. Obviously, if anyone doesn't know, in the quintet system, if there's no submission in one of the matches, then both guys go out. So if you win the first one or the second one and you get that tempo, you get up 1-0, you get up 2-0, whatever it is, you can just tell those boys, ride it out, keep those knees and elbows tucked in, don't expose any submission threats, and then we'll end up gaming our way through the bracket. So yeah, I'd probably be sending either Bilal or Declan out first, hoping that the other team sends one of their smaller guys out, and yeah, hopefully put them away. And yeah, man, it'll be fun if you can get up. I feel like if you get up early, the guys are good enough now that if your aim is to purely just not get subbed, that you can kind of like coast your way through any match, you know?
There's a lot of whispers, like, to be honest, I never heard of Bilal before this Giles Trials, but from everyone I've talked to, he is an absolute weapon and super, super dangerous. Like, the stories of, he just grabs it, not even put stuff on, and you have to tap. So he is like he could be our X factor for the competition.
Yeah, it's funny. I've actually had Bilal on Instagram for probably like a year now. He followed me like a year ago, and I followed him back, and I've just been watching him compete at like random comps and just pulling off some stuff that was unreal. So like I knew about him when he came over, And then, like you say, you heard like whispers in the wind from the Absolute boys who were talking about this guy who's come over from New Zealand and is just putting people away. And yeah, it was really cool for him to get his breakout performance because, like I said, we've trained together a little bit. He's come to AT a couple of times. He's come to Combat One a couple of times, and we just get to like sit in the pocket with each other and exchange. Like he's really exceptional. Like let's be honest, he's an ape. He's so strong. Like he's such an athlete, and like having someone at that weight who can leg lock and who can entangle you in intelligent ways is such a weapon. But mechanically and like strategically, like the way that he sets things up is such a high level. Like he's really special. And I think we'll see how he goes at that high level of competition, and there will be holes in his game for sure. That, you know, hopefully don't get exploited, but I'm sure that, you know, as he develops, he's only been training for like 4 years. So I'm sure that as he develops in his jiu-jitsu journey, those holes will start to fill in. But for what he does, like his one wood is so strong, man. Sorry, my dog is crying at me, but can you not do that? Yeah, I'm really excited for Belal to test himself on that big stage. I'm not anticipating that CGI will be Belal's massive, you know, breakout performance on the international scale. But I think sort of similar to Abby, that this will be his first exposure to that level, and that in a couple of years, that's going to be a formative experience for him to hopefully become one of the best guys in the world. So, yeah, huge things coming for Belal Etiabari, man.
It sounds
There you
like
go.
Lockie's done a good job of sort of marketing him as a boogeyman, as like the Mike Tyson of Australian BJJ, which is smart. Like that could be a strategy as well. You get the other teams afraid of him. So maybe the thing is you sort of protect him a bit, put him in some grappling industries, get him to do some very bad breaks on some people, post him up, and people are just scared of him. So that could be a strategy too. And just market him like he is going to be our number one fighter and he will break your leg. So,
I mean,
mind
listen,
games.
brother, from what I've heard, you don't need to send him out to competition for some of those breaks. You just pull the security footage from Absolute St Kilda and you might see a couple, you know what I mean? I don't want to say nothing. This is not my story to tell, but I've just heard some things. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that Belal is a scary, scary man. And yeah, maybe the less I say about that, the better, eh?
I like it.
Boom.
You reckon, Lance?
Nah, it's good. Good way to wrap it up. I'm super keen for, the CGI too. Australia, Australasia, we've got a good team. Like, on our day, I think we could definitely do some damage. And we didn't even talk about Levi. Like, I'm hearing whispers like Levi, he's killing people in the gym. Like, even all the international visitors he's killing. So we didn't even get to talk about Levi. So, wow,
Yeah, I've heard that Levi makes black belts feel like they don't know jiu-jitsu. So that's fun.
So we got that type of athlete in the team. So it's going to be awesome. Hopefully we'll give you guys some more interviews and things for CGI and just overall coaching as well. So Colby, thanks so much. We'll let you go to class, heel hook some people, give them some justice, and we'll see you on the next one.
Sweet. Thank you, boys. Appreciate you having me.
Boom.